Nancy Mace, the trans-obsessed South Carolina representative, vacated her seat in order to run for the governorship of that state. She came in fifth place in her party's primary, so she's never going to be governor. And while she is not actively seeking the interim position to fill Lindsey Graham's Senate seat in that state, because she wants to stay in the House as long as she possibly can and continue to be a solid Republican vote, apparently she is eyeing a run for it once she's out of the seat. Nancy Mace eyes run to replace Graham in Senate. Representative Nancy Mace, Republican of South Carolina, is considering a run to replace the late Senator Lindsey Graham, also a Republican of South Carolina, in the Senate. Asked about interest in replacing Graham, a person familiar with Mace's thinking told The Hill Sunday morning, YOLO, the saying, "You only live once." Mace is expected to conduct polling this week to measure her potential strength in a primary race to replace Graham, whose office announced Sunday that he died suddenly overnight after a brief illness. Graham was running for re-election this year and had been named the Republican nominee. Per South Carolina law, the filing period for a special primary to replace Graham as nominee ends on July 21st. A special primary election to take place on August 11th, and a runoff, if needed, will happen on August 25th. South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster, Republican, will separately appoint a replacement to fill the remainder of Graham's term through January 3rd. Mace, who has built a firebrand persona in politics, last month came in fifth place in a Republican primary to be governor of South Carolina, garnering about 12% of the vote. She blamed her loss in part on being one of four Republicans to sign a discharge petition forcing a vote to release files about the deceased convicted sex offender, Jeffrey Epstein, which angered President Trump. Trump had endorsed South Carolina Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evette in the governor's race, but she lost the nomination in a runoff to the state's Attorney General, Alan Wilson. Mace was forced to forego running for re-election to the House because she ran for governor and was set to depart Congress in January. She posted a clip from The Godfather Part 3 on Sunday morning, quoting the movie, "Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in." In a separate statement on Graham, Mace said that the late senator gave everything he had to this state and this country, from the Air Force to the United States Senate. "We did not always agree, but no one ever questioned his love for South Carolina or the fight he brought to every room he walked into," Mace said. Punchbowl News reported early Sunday that the gubernatorial nominee's father, Representative Joe Wilson, Republican of South Carolina, 78, was interested in being appointed to replace Graham and running for a full term. But Wilson, later Sunday morning, indicated that after talking to Trump, he would remain in the House, where Republicans have a super slim majority. "I was grateful to speak with President Trump today, reminiscing about our mutual friend, Senator Lindsey Graham. I assured him my goal is to remain in the House to keep his two-vote majority for the American people," Wilson wrote on social media Sunday. On Sunday morning, Trump told NBC News' Meet the Press that he had a replacement for Graham in mind. Quote, "I have someone that I think would be great, but I don't want to say it now because it's too soon with Lindsey," Trump said. "I don't want to even talk about anybody, but I do have somebody that I think is really good." Trump went on to praise the current governor, McMaster. Nancy Mace is going to try and move from the House to the Senate. And Democrats in the state of South Carolina need to do everything humanly possible to not let that happen. She is an horrific excuse for a human being. She's transphobic as fuck, and she should never be anywhere near Congress again.